he drops this shit coin, Trump coin. Then the next day he drops a Melania shit coin.
Or maybe she dropped it. We don't know yet, right?
Whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, he already, just the Melania, dropping the Melania coin totally undercut the Trump coin. So already it dropped 40% instantly after the Melania thing drops. I saw this morning, I don't know, I have to double check the numbers on this, but that the Melania coin was already down 70% from its peak or something. So people who aren't crypto people understand. These meme coins, they don't exist. I mean, all it is hype. It is a pure Ponzi scheme. At least with Bitcoin, which I'm also not a big fan of, but at least with Bitcoin, there's a story about a new technology and using it as actual currency, for transactions, cross-national transactions, and frictionless and not having to deal with government, blah, blah, blah. At least there's a story. With these, there's no even pretense that this adds anything valuable or productive to the economy. It's just a total greater fool cash grab, meaning that you buy in with the hope and the assumption that there will be people dumber and more gullible than you who are going to come in after you and push the price up so that you can be one of the winners. But I mean, by and large, these are just massive upward transfers of wealth. The Trump coin, 80% is held by insiders. The Melania coin, I saw 89% is held by a single wallet. So those people are guaranteed to come out on the positive net winner side, and then all of the suckers who, not all, but many of the suckers who get pulled in after are the ones who will bear real cash losses from purchasing this entirely fake, invented bullshit thing.
Yeah, and I generally, as people know, I think it's bad. We have talked how many times on the show? Trump Hotel, Trump Super PAC saying he's going to challenge Stop the Steal.
Yeah.
Trump merch. Trump.
This is another level, though.
Yeah, Krystal, you're right, but guess what? At a certain point, remember a conversation we had before the holiday, and I was talking about sports gambling, and how no matter how much information I or others put out there about people getting ripped off about sports gambling, that sports gambling becomes more popular in the United States, even though you're literally losing if you're placing gambles. At a certain point, people want to be ripped off. And I'm stopping feeling bad anymore.
They want the fantasy of this.
Then suffer the consequences at this point. You guys voted for this, you guys don't care about this, then fine, deal with it. I don't feel bad anymore.
It's just such naked, I don't know.
And they like it. They want it.
End stage capitalism, where, like I said, look, there's tons of fakery in the stock market, right? Oftentimes stock prices are not really related to the value of that company. And a lot of that is based on hype and blah, 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 blah. At least there's a story about some product or service that is being offered that is some sort of a benefit to humanity. This is just pure theft, cash grab. And I mean, to me, it's wild that it's legal. It's wild that this is allowed at all, that you can just invent a fake thing and steal a bunch of people's money, and it's perfectly fine. But this is, it's very similar to what the Hawk Tuah chick,
No, it's
Haley,
literally exactly the same.
It's the same shit that this lady did. And so now, again, anybody who doesn't have an issue with this on the Republican side, I don't want to hear about your Hunter Biden corruption, James Biden corruption, Nancy Pelosi inside trade. That is pennies compared to what we're talking about here. Trump, he massively inflated his own net worth. He is now predominantly, his wealth is from this freaking crypto thing.
That's part of why it's absurd, is that it's going to collapse. So everyone's like, oh, Trump is worth $25 billion. It's no, he's worth, I don't know, whatever the post-crash price will be, which will be 0.1 cent. So yes, I guess technically on paper, he's worth $25 billion or whatever.
Yeah, on paper, the bulk of his wealth is now in the stupid Trump coin.
I will also
Melania
say,
coin.
A lot of this is Don Jr. and Eric too, who are actually the ones behind, I think it's called World Liberty Financial. I don't know what to say. Like I said to you, I think people are enjoying getting ripped off at a certain point. By the way, if you're invested in Trump coin, you're a fucking idiot. All right, well, let's just say it. Can we all be honest? If you're going online and you're buying this crap, you're a moron. And a lot of the people who do invest in this stuff do so specifically for speculative purposes to try and get in on the idiots who will buy it.
Right.
I just I feel exhausted by the conversation now, frankly, just because it's so obvious to me now, in the more socially libertarian, isolated America, this is unironically what people want. And at a certain point, why try and protect people from what they want? Like, they want to gamble. They want to play the lottery. They want to buy Trump coin because they think it's funny, or, or ticket to wealth. What are we supposed to do? Whenever, look, the argument against Trump has been made. The corruption argument has happened. It's been plastered all over the news. People don't give a shit. So it's like what I was telling you previously. They think that the Democratic Party is so equally corrupt that their guy is corrupt, but he does the stuff that they like. I don't think it's a good thing, but that's what they think. They have no problem. And so it's a hypocrisy race to the bottom. And when they hear people who are Democrats, Chris Murphy, I saw, and others are criticizing this, it's like, dude, they're just going to point to your photo with Alex Soros and they're going to say you're equally corrupt. You're not even wrong, absolutely. On absolute terms, what's Pelosi worth on paper? 100 million, something like that?
I mean, Hunter getting some board seat or whatever
600 grand
is nothing.
Right.
Nothing compared to
in
this.
absolute terms.
So the thing I'm saying, Saagar, is first of all, number one, I don't think that, I can't just throw my hands up because I think these things I think corruption is actually really important, and
but they don't. And they control the country.
You obviously did too. You did a whole long monologue about your problems with online gambling, and you may acknowledge, politically, I'm in the minority here, but that didn't stop you from feeling like it was important.
No, of course.
To make the argument, which is my position here as well.
Yeah.
But it's also again, if you don't have any smoke for Trump don't tell me about Pelosi's and you don't care. You actually don't care. And you are just a total partisan hack if you have no smoke for Trump on this, but the only corruption you see is on the Democratic side. Because in that hypocrisy race to the bottom, let me tell you, buddy, he just won. Because show me another instance where a politician has managed to grift tens of billions of dollars off their own, primarily their own supporters, through something that is just completely fake.
Assuming he actually is able to realize any of these gains,
he's going to be able to realize some of them.
I would bet at best he can realize maybe 50 million. Now, look, I'm not putting it down, but 50 million.
That's an insane amount of money.
Yeah, sure, but it's not 25 billion. Look, I'm not defending it. What I'm just saying is it's very clear that the way that this is all played out, like Dave Portnoy buying Trump coin, pumping Trump coin, right? People getting in on this. I saw a lot of this during the whole Robinhood, GME thing, and now you really see it. And really, what you see in today is just gambling. People single game parlays, and their willingness and they want more gambling products. They love to be ripped off. It's the most remarkable thing in the world, and they love
the promise of the possibility of what it could. They want to buy into fortune favors the brave, and there are enough examples of random people who place the crypto bet at the right time that they're like, that could be me, and lacking better, in some instances, lacking better prospects or any other real pathway to that sort of luxury lifestyle, or even being able to just make it and have a normal middle class lifestyle. Yeah, they're going to be susceptible to chasing scams like this. I don't know how a society survives. Truly, I don't know how a society survives where it is illegal to just make up money with the explicit purpose of robbing people. I mean, that's what this is. It is a pure Ponzi scheme. At least the Amway people sell some shit, right? This doesn't even have that. It doesn't even have the pretense of that. It's just invented. And this is a core part of the economy.
No, it's not a core part of the economy. Let's not.
Increasingly?
No. It's less than 1% of overall.
This is a central also promise of the Trump administration is moving more in the direction. Let's have the Bitcoin crypto reserve. I don't know. To me, it's such a sign. I mean, first of all, just the brazenness of Trump, right?
Yeah,
but
and he is getting away with it.
But also, I know, he gets away with everything.
That's my point.
He's gotten away with everything.
People don't care. I don't know what to say.
The brazenness of Trump, and also just pure societal decline and the end stage capitalism, that it's hard for me to wrap my head around that it's actually a real thing.
Oh, I mean, look, historically, this is actually pretty par for the course. We talked a lot about yesterday the 1900s and the way that you had literal robber barons and other people who would be in power, both politically and then also similarly either involved in big business or price discrimination, et cetera. It's just a natural extension of an extremely low trust society. That's what we're in. If people are trying to parse the differences of like, oh, but Pelosi and all that is bad. Oh, but Trump is bad. And when neither have any credibility on the issue, they just choose like the lesser of two evils.
I really do. I saw someone tweet this, and I think this is right. I think Citizens United really was like the beginning of the end of any semblance of democracy. Because I do think effectively, capitalism and democracy, very difficult for the two to coexist. Very difficult. If it's going to work, you're going to have some strict controls on money and politics. And not only do we not have strict control, we basically have no controls on money and politics effectively. And so I mean, that's what you're going to end up with is a bunch of oligarchs who run the government, get what they want, and get taxpayer goodies and get the decisions on AI and crypto and whatever that's going to further enrich them and screw over working people because they won't have the ability to join labor unions or organize or fight back against the AI that's going to come and take their jobs. Like that is the natural endpoint of the system that we set up, and that, to your point, Saagar, that both parties have at this point like wholly embraced.
But what I can't move away from is that's what people want. Majority of people, or not majority, a huge portion of households who are union voted for Trump. It's just like, okay, well, don't complain. I don't know what to say. Like, they like him. They don't care about the NLRB or whatever. They think it's like bureaucratic bullshit, and then Trump will just, it'll change everything up. Okay.
But it's not like their other option was really great.
No, sure, but that's my
Kamala
point.
Harris was a terrible candidate, stood for nothing, and barely lost.
I wouldn't say barely. I mean, you lose all 7 swing states. Yes, point and a half, but you lost all seven swing states. And importantly, even within that point and a half, the demographic movement is deeply important for what the future of that looks like.
No doubt about it.
And who's left in the Democratic
If it continues
Party.
In that direction.
Yeah. Nothing is, nothing in politics is permanent, et cetera, et cetera. But really what we are looking at is the new birth of like socially libertarian America. This is what it looks like. Like, this is the snake oil salesman era of the early 1900s. And I think again, if you want to change that, you have to think about, why is it so popular? I will never understand it. Why people put their money on FanDuel and look, $5, $10 is not what we're all worried about here. We're talking about people who are gambling away their life savings. Or if you put your life savings in Trump, this is where the bootstrap part of me comes in. I don't know. You deserve it. I don't know what, that's an IQ test. That's social Darwinianism at a certain point. And what we have gotten to is a society that venerates and wants this get rich quick and all of this. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of people in power are responsible. Yeah. But let's also not let people off the hook.
Sure.
They like it. And I don't know what to say. In a country which loves weed and porn and gambling is constantly searching for get rich quick stuff, and they make fun of people like Dave Ramsey and others who tell them to save their money and put it in the freaking S&P 500, and they're like, oh, that's boomer shit, even though that's like the greatest return that you probably could have ever asked for compared to the idiot stuff that you're doing. I mean, like, people have a choice. Their individual responsibility and wishes are a thing. And this is what they want.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to deny people individual agency for their decisions. But when you have a mass societal trend, then you have to ask, what are the underlying economic, social, political conditions that are leading to that trend? Because they don't just come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And my contention would be that in an era of mass inequality, the likes of which we have never seen in human history, where the price of goods that are required in order to obtain like just a basic middle class life have been going up and up and up for decades. And also there's a lot of cultural trends. I mean, you do see like the valorization of the businessman who breaks the rules but gets away with it and gets rich and gets the girl and whatever. Like, there's those social cultural trends as well. But yeah, that leads a lot of people to be very susceptible to mythology about, whether it's how Trump is going to save them and they put all their trust in him. And that's part of, that parlays right into this crypto theft heist scheme. Or if it's trust in like, this is my shot. This is my lotto ticket to be able to make it to the good life.
I don't disagree necessarily. I just sometimes have to like truly, I think about this with weed. I think about this with porn. I think about this with gambling. These are massively popular services. I could show people all the social research in the world that will show this is so bad for you. If you live your life the opposite to this, you will be better off. They don't want to do it. They like it. It's like, I can't, and look, we're not a dictatorship. You can't control people. And yes, there's a lot of people who, there's a lot of, economic reasons, et cetera, and all of that, but a lot of it is cultural. A lot of it is familial. And I think we're gone. I mean, I think we've long past moved what that even looks like in terms of what that everything will look like for a fix. I don't think Donald Trump is going to fix it. I don't even think it's literally possible. I think maybe he could usher in an age where we ask bigger questions in a society. Maybe more of you will be able to grapple with bigger questions and other stuff, and with media and the new environment. But in the interim, there's just this is the celebration. And it's just funny. Every time I talk about gambling or whatever, oh, you're a narc, you're a nerd. Weed, same thing. Porn, they start laughing when you talk about all these things. And they will fight to the death for their right to consume the things that are bad for them. And look at Prohibition. Prohibition was a good idea. Sorry, it's true. People were drunk and they were beating their wives, and the women are the ones who wanted it. And then they got it overturned because they just want to be drunk all the time. It's like, okay, at a certain point, you just got to give people what they want.
It also, we don't have to fight about Prohibition today, but it led to a massive increase in crime and organized gang.
Well, there's also the Great Depression.
Whatever.
People conveniently leave that out of the story.
True.
Yeah, like in terms of where a lot of the crime and all that came from. One of the main reasons they brought it back is because they needed tax revenue, ironically. But yeah, that
tracks.
Yeah, so when we think about it, with all of the stuff that's super popular today, and look at male culture. Look at what young people, dudes, and all of that are looking at. I think there's a lot of economic reasons for it, but I also think there's a huge cultural component to all of this. And the more I see of how it has not only dominated, but has become overwhelmingly popular, the less optimistic I am that anything is ever going to change.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.